Hello and welcome to Leadership Models. I'm Dr. Mark Manley, and I've spent most of my adult life looking at leadership and trying to understand what goes into making leadership actually work. Not just management, leadership. So there's a clear distinction between managers and leaders. Leaders have followers who actually want to contribute to the success of the enterprise or the endeavor or the great vision. Managers sometimes just have subordinates who are there just for survival purposes and just feel obligated to do the minimum to stay out of trouble. Well, sadly, because you're not going to get any kind of voluntary effort that goes into achieving the great success that you as a leader might have in mind. So, what goes into this leadership? So, having looked at leadership over thousands of years and a couple of key cases in particular where we could get the information, it turns out that there are essentially 10 big dynamics that go into the foundations and the formulation of leadership styles and making it effective for structural leadership. So, what does this mean? 10 things, six foundations. Those are six parts of the foundations of leadership, and then four styles that get built on top of that. Think of a house, for example. Any house has got to have some kind of foundations on which the structure actually stands. So, what goes into the foundations of leadership? Six things: a future focus, passion, communication, power, integrity, self and social management. Those six things. And then on top of that, you build a house that has a style that might represent the solution to the environment that is the challenge for the people living inside the house. In an area where there might be lots of snow, you want a steep roof like this to get rid of the snow. In a place that is very hot, you want a flat roof to actually expel all the heat and make the house livable. So, leadership is much the same. What are the requirements of the leadership in that particular context that is going to make the leadership effective to lead the people that are following and to achieve the great, glorious future that you as a leader want to experience and actually have? So, let's look at the foundations first. First of all, we have what I indicated earlier, this future focus, this thing where you have a desirable future thing that you're wanting to achieve. Some people have called it vision. Some people really want to go there, and that is their key driving motivational force in their lives. But it's not only just about a vision, which has now unfortunately got all sorts of baggage attached to the term, but it is a desirable future, a future that indicates something that is better than we've got at the moment, and hopefully better than anything that we've had in the past. So this future has got to be in a encapsulation that captures the imagination. And the imagination has two parts. It is aspiration and hope, but it is also imagination can also be a route to fear. So be careful that as you are communicating and developing your future focus, your desirable future focus, it doesn't actually just sublimate into something that is fearful, but rather something that is saying, we want to go there. It's going to be exciting and amazing and better than anything we have now or anything that we've had in the past. The second thing that we actually need in the foundations of our leadership is passion. Passion is an emotional part of achieving that future thing that we want, the cause of what we are doing, and properly communicated, because it is emotion and emotion is transferable and very contagious. If you're excited about what you are doing as a leader, your followers should be able to catch that, to be infected by your passion, that emotional drive, the dedication of your kilojoules and your wherewithal to achieving your cause. So that's the passion. We'll talk about passion in more detail later on in a subsequent session of leadership models. The third thing is communication. You might have the greatest idea in your mind, but unless you are able to communicate it and get it into the minds of other people, it's just going to stay there and be pretty useless as a leadership contributing factor to achieving your great and glorious future. So leaders have to have an ability to take an idea and put it into the minds of a lot of other people so that they can follow and dedicate themselves also to the same cause. So communication. And there's a lot that has been written on communication. In fact, one recent study indicated that in organizations, leading organizations, 80% of their problems came down to communication, external and internal communication. So communication is essential for a leader to have to make sure that you're going to be effective. Number 4 in our foundations of leadership is being able to generate power. Now, some people are turned off by this term, power, because, the old things, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. So actually, let's use the word influence. You need influence. Leaders have to bring about change. That's an imperative. If you're not leading and bringing about change, you're just a maintenance officer, and that's rather sad. So to bring about change, you need to have influence and power. If we have to change our physical environment, we need physical power. Moving chairs and tables around like I often do in conferences and in organizations and in offices, I need some kind of strength in my arms and my shoulders and my legs to move the chairs and the tables around. That's just the physical environment in which I find myself. If you want to bring about social change and business change, you need power in those areas. Social power. What does that look like? And how are you going to generate that, cultivate it in yourself as a leader to bring about the change that is essential for your cause to be achieved? So, power or influence, very, very important. Number 5, you've got to be trusted. Unless you are trusted by the people who want to follow you, remember that power and leadership is a subscribed thing. People give you that authority in their lives. So if you're wanting to have that, people have to voluntarily understand that they can trust you. If they can't trust you, you've lost the cause. That's it. So how do you build trust? We'll also be discussing that in a later section of leadership models. Lastly, number 6, you've got to have social and emotional ability. So some people call it EQ or SQ. So how do you understand your own emotions? How do you control and manage those towards a future that is going to be better for you and your followers? How do you understand other people's emotional situations? And that is the social quotient, the social intelligence that you've got to have to understand where other people are so as you can take them into the future. So those are the foundations. In bringing about the foundational security of your leadership, you have to have all 6. You got a weak spot in your foundations, there's going to be a crack in the wall eventually. And who knows? The whole leadership structure might come tumbling down very, very sadly. You don't want that. So those 6 things, have a look at those, and we will be talking about them in subsequent episodes of leadership models in more detail and giving you the ability and the opportunity to develop your expertise in these areas with some key pointers. So now we have these foundations. What do we do on top of foundations? We build structure. So what is the style of our leadership? There are 4 of them. The 4 classic styles of leadership. Number 1, pioneering. This is future focused. We want to be pioneers sometimes to make sure that the new ideas are having some kind of impact in our society and with our led community. So pioneering involves entrepreneurship, risk-taking, and a bunch of other things. So what is this pioneering leadership? Again, to be discussed in the future. Without a team, you're going to be useless to achieve that cause, because if the cause can be achieved just by you, that cause or that vision or that undertaking is not big enough. So there's got to be a team building component to your leadership. Some people have a great style of team building leadership, and the people that are in that team feel wonderfully taken care of and nurtured. It's almost pastoral in a way, where the leader cares for the people so much. The people have a large say, a large ability to participate in decision making and problem solving. That's your team building leadership. That's number 2 in the styles of leadership. Number 3 style of leadership is empowering. Moving into the future, there is that great and glorious future that is calling us to make a change in our world. But unless we empower people, unless we commission them, unless we say, here is the wherewithal to achieve what you've got to do as part of achieving this great and glorious future. So that comes down to things like skills and motivation, ability, and very importantly, the transfer of authority. That part of commission, which a lot of people seem to forget as leaders because they just want everything to come through them. So we'll be talking about, and that's very, very important. Lastly, there is directive leadership, which is also a style. In a crisis, you want to direct it. Tell me what to do. I'm in a crisis. I'm suffering. I don't know what to do. The leader comes in and says, do this and this and this. This kind of quality standard. This is the budget. This is the time frame. You, the person to do it, because now we've gone through all the others. I know where we've got to go. I'm part of the team. I've been empowered and educated and motivated and trained to achieve this thing. And now I've got to deliver on the basis of directive leadership. By this, I've actually indicated that we need all 4 styles, not just one. It's very few leaders that have all 4 styles in their arsenal of leadership ability. And so you've got to build a leadership team around you that can deliver to the needs of your followers in all 4 areas, in all 4 dimensions. There are great needs. Sometimes, as a follower, I really need to be enthused to go into the future, to have the adventure. And I need that kind of leadership to inspire me. Sometimes I need to feel like I belong. And I need a team building leader that's going to be able to take me as feeling lonely and be building me into a team. Sometimes I'm going to need that. But sometimes I'm going to feel, gosh, I'm inadequate over here. There might be a bit of imposter syndrome. I need some kind of development. I need to feel that I have the skills. Oh, and I need some authority as well to be able to sign off on some of the projects that I've been given a responsibility for. Not only responsibility, but also authority. And then sometimes, man, it's going so rough. I just really need to be told what to do. So please, just tell me what to do, and I will do it because we're in a crisis. I can't see the wood for the trees, but you do because you're the leader. And so I need all 4 things because these are 4 major needs in my life. And you, the leader, and the leadership team at large should be able to deliver those into my life so that we can effectively, together, achieve the great and glorious future that is your cause as the leader, your great and glorious desired future, the cause of your leadership. Hope you've enjoyed this part of leadership models. Join us again next time for more leadership models where we'll start unpacking these in more detail. See ya.